Everyone knows Switzerland. The lake at Lucerne. The clock tower in Bern. The Matterhorn rising from its perfect valley like it was placed there for a photograph. Switzerland is one of the most visited countries on Earth, and somehow, despite millions of tourists arriving every single year, it has managed to keep its best secrets completely hidden. There are places inside this small, landlocked country that feel like they were lifted from a story that hasn't been written yet. Valleys with no roads. Villages where time stopped 4 centuries ago. Gorges so narrow that sunlight reaches the bottom for barely 20 minutes a day. Lakes that appear black in the morning mist and turquoise by noon. The tourists don't find these places. The tour buses don't go here. The travel packages don't mention them. This video will. These are the top 10 hidden places in Switzerland, the ones that even most Swiss people have never visited. Counted down from extraordinary to absolutely unforgettable. Stay until the end. Because number 1 is a place that almost no travel channel has ever covered. A valley so remote, so protected, and so breathtaking that locals treat the knowledge of it like a closely guarded secret. Let's begin. Number 10, Berschis and the Walensee Cliffs, St. Gallen. At number 10, a lake that stops people in their tracks the moment they see it. The Walensee stretches for 16 kilometers through the canton of St. Gallen, pinned on both sides by walls of sheer limestone cliff that rise almost vertically from the water. There are sections of this lake where the rock face drops hundreds of meters to the surface, and then continues dropping underwater for hundreds of meters more. The result is a color that doesn't seem physically possible for a body of fresh water. Deep turquoise. Electric green. Shifting with the angle of the sun, the time of day, the mood of the sky. A color that travel photography almost never captures accurately, because the human eye keeps insisting it can't be real. Number 9, Aletsch Forest, Valais, number 9. A UNESCO World Heritage Site that somehow almost no one visits. To understand the Aletsch Forest, you first need to understand what sits above it. The Great Aletsch Glacier is the longest glacier in the Alps, 23 kilometers of ancient ice that in places reaches 900 meters deep. It is one of the largest accumulations of glacial ice in the world outside the polar regions. It has been moving, slowly, grinding the rock beneath it, for thousands of years. This is not a place that will shout at you. It is a place that will change you quietly, if you let it. Number 8, Giornico, Ticino. At number 8, the journey moves south, into Ticino, the Italian-speaking canton that is probably the most underrated region in all of Switzerland. Most visitors who make it to Ticino stop at Lugano or Locarno. Both are beautiful. Both are worth seeing. And both are completely overshadowed, for those who know where to look, by a tiny medieval village that sits in the valley below them. Giornico. The Simplon Road, one of the great Alpine transit routes, passes right through the Leventina Valley where Giornico sits. Millions of vehicles travel this route every year, making for Italy or returning to the north. Almost none of them stop. History is in the stones here. You can feel it as you walk the lanes. As you cross the bridge. As you sit by the river in the late afternoon sun and watch the water move. Number 7, Schwarzsee, Fribourg Alps. Number 7 has a name that describes it exactly. Schwarzsee. The Black Lake. Set at just over 1,000 meters in the Fribourg Prealps, Schwarzsee is a lake that earns its name. The dense forest of spruce and fir that surrounds it fills the water with tannins from centuries of decaying organic matter, giving the surface a deep, dark hue, almost black in the morning stillness, shifting to dark green as the light changes through the day. On a windless morning, the lake surface becomes a perfect mirror. The forest reflects in it so completely, so precisely, that standing at the shore and looking down feels like looking into a second version of the world, inverted, silent, contained in the dark water. Number 6, Mustair Valley, Graubünden. At number 6, the journey reaches the far southeastern corner of Switzerland, a place that most Swiss people couldn't find on a map without help. The Mustair Valley. Val Mustair in Romansh, sits in the canton of Graubünden, right on the Italian border, separated from the rest of Switzerland by mountain passes that close in winter and slow everything down even in summer. It is genuinely remote. Genuinely isolated. And inside it sits the Benedictine convent of St. John, a UNESCO World Heritage Site containing something that no other building in the world contains. The largest surviving collection of Carolingian frescoes on Earth. This is what 1200 years of quiet survival looks like. And it is extraordinary. Number 5, Creux du Van, Neuchâtel, number 5. There are places in the world where the landscape achieves a geometry so perfect, so mathematically precise, that the human eye initially refuses to accept it as natural. The Creux du Van is one of those places. A natural rock amphitheater in the Neuchâtel Jura, carved by glacial action over hundreds of thousands of years, the Creux du Van stretches nearly a kilometer across in a near-perfect semicircle. Its limestone walls rise almost vertically for 150 meters. The whole formation looks as if a civilization of giants carved it out of the mountain as a venue for performances on a scale that no existing human theater could match. The reward is one of the finest views in Central Europe. Not in Switzerland. In Central Europe. And almost no one knows it exists. Number 4, Soglio, Bregaglia Valley, Graubünden. In the late 19th century, the painter Giovanni Segantini stood in a village in the Bregaglia Valley and wrote that he had arrived at, in his words, the threshold of paradise. Segantini was not given to understatement. He was precise. He was a painter, someone professionally trained to look carefully at the world and describe what he saw with accuracy. The village was Soglio. And standing there today, it is difficult to find fault with his assessment. Number 3. Braunwald, Glarus Canton, number 3. A place the Swiss keep largely to themselves. Braunwald. In the canton of Glarus. The only way to get there is the Braunwaldbahn, a small cable funicular that climbs from the valley floor at Lindhall up to the village at 1,900 meters. There are no roads into Braunwald. There is no other option. The funicular is everything. And this simple geographical fact, the absence of any road connection, has kept Braunwald exactly as it is for well over a century. That is what Braunwald does. It recalibrates. Number 2, Gondo Gorge, Simplon Pass, Valais. Every year, millions of travelers drive the Simplon Pass route between Switzerland and Italy. It is one of the great alpine crossings, dramatic, winding, historically significant. And almost every single one of them drives straight past number 2 without stopping. Right at the Swiss-Italian border, the road drops into the Gondo Gorge, a narrow slot canyon carved through granite by the Diveria River over geological timescales. The walls rise several hundred meters on either side. At the narrowest points they close in so completely that the sky above is reduced to a thin strip of light. Waterfalls appear from the cliff edges and fall in long, thin threads to the gorge floor. The air is cool and damp even in the height of summer. Number 1, Binn Valley, Binntal, Valais, number 1. The Binn Valley. In the eastern part of the Valais, not far from the Simplon Pass, there is a valley that has no road through it. One road goes in. The same road comes back out. The valley leads nowhere but itself. To come to the Binntal, you must choose it. There is no passing through. No accidental arrival. Every person who enters this valley has made a specific decision to be there. And the valley rewards that decision in ways that are genuinely difficult to put into words, though the attempt will be made. There are no crowds. There never are. If one place from this entire list, just one, this is the one. Take the road from Fiche or from Ernen. Drive to where the road ends. Walk from there. The valley will do the rest. 10 places. One small country. An entirely different version of Switzerland. From the turquoise cliffs of the Walensee to the ancient forest growing beneath the world's greatest glacier. From a medieval village on the Italian border where history lives in the stones, to a car-free mountain village where the only sound is wind and cowbells. From a cliff face that looks carved by giants, to a valley at the end of a road that goes nowhere else. Switzerland has been hiding these places in plain sight. They were always there. They will continue to be there, long after the tour buses have moved on to the next destination on the standard itinerary. The question, the only question, is whether to go. If this video made that question feel urgent, leave a comment below. Which of these 10 places do you most want to visit? Or, if there is a hidden corner of Switzerland that belongs on this list, share it.